Please don't lay on the power block because you're gonna start a fire and we don't want that. And we're back. I took a nice long break, like 15 minutes or something like that. And I'm ready to keep going. Day 3 investigation. The case is getting good. It's getting real good in here. My cat decided to jump up here and now she's like, meow. This is the first time you've shown up today, isn't it? You saw her briefly, didn't you? Let's keep going, shall we? It might be good to save over this final file over here. February 24th, 3:12 p.m. Wright & Co. Law Offices. I'm so sorry, Mr. Wright. I'm sorry for what my sister said. Now, there's a lot of controversy going on from what happened 2 years ago, isn't there? Drastic crimes require drastic measures. That's just the way it is. We did what we had to in order for him to get the verdict he deserved. I didn't know. I never knew that the SL9 incident was just another name for the Joe Dark killings. Sounds like everyone's heard about these killings but me. Lana wanted Dark convicted so badly. And he was executed, right? That's why she used me. That's why she... Oh, you're fat. Oh, you're so fat. Oh, she's a big girl. You're very cute. And you can hang out on my bed, okay? Also, please don't lay on the power block because you're gonna start a fire and we don't want that. That's why she used me. That's why she used what happened to me. What do you mean, what happened to you? It's all there in the file. Joe Dark's last victim was Prosecutor Neil Marshall. When he murdered Officer Marshall's brother, he left behind an incriminating piece of evidence. But what did you have to do with those killings, Emma? On the night Prosecutor Neil Marshall was murdered, Joe Dark tried to kill me. What? He tried to kill you? Officer Marshall's brother, Neil, was only trying to save me. Well, this just got very interesting, didn't it? So that means you... Yes. I was a witness in the Joe Dark trial. I didn't see that one coming. Tell us about it. Oh my god. It happened 2 years ago. It was right about this time of year, too. There was a terrible thunderstorm that day, unusual for the season. I was alone in my sister's office. We were planning to eat dinner together once she finished her work. Then, suddenly, this terrifying man came bursting into the office. Joe Dark? It seemed like he was running from someone. He pulled out a knife and screamed at me. I didn't know what was going on. Just then, Prosecutor Marshall showed up. Jake Marshall's brother. Joe Dark tried to take me hostage. But before he could, Mr. Marshall tackled him. Then... what happened? I'll never forget it. Lightning struck, and the lights went out. Suddenly, a bolt of lightning flashed outside the window, lighting up the office for an instant. What I saw then burned a permanent picture into my mind. I can still see it now. A permanent picture? That's pretty traumatizing. She was only, what, 14 at the time? I don't remember I don't remember the moment when Dark stabbed Mr. Marshall.
So you weren't able to testify about that?
No, I was only asked about when I was attacked. That must be why she made up the crime?
Made it up? You mean provided bogus evidence?
The prosecutor's office wanted that guilty verdict so badly. Lana forged the evidence, and Mr. Edgeworth used it.
Edgeworth?
Yes, but I'm sure he didn't know anything about it. He couldn't have known he was being given false evidence. Even so, that's when it all started. The rumors about Mr. Edgeworth, I mean. It's all my fault. If I could have just testified properly, none of this would have happened.
So it's true, even though we may not have known it. Edgeworth really was involved in falsifying evidence.
After that case ended, Lana was never the same. She became cold, like she is today.
She must not have been able to face up to what she did, especially not to Emma.
What did you see in the instant that crime occurred?
That's pretty hard to look at, isn't it?
Dark knocked down Mr. Marshall and raised his knife.
Neil Marshall was stabbed right in front of this poor girl.
I don't remember what happened after that. Apparently I passed out. When I came to, Lana was cradling me in her arms.
Poor Emma. Been through so much.
I couldn't bring myself to testify about that instant. I tried, the words just wouldn't come out. I drew a picture, but it wasn't any good.
2 years ago. You must have been 14. That's understandable.
Once it was all over, I made up my mind. I decided that when I grew up, I'd become a scientific investigator. I wanted to be able to fight crime with my testimonies and find the evidence to make an airtight case. That way Lana would never have to forge any.
I see. I think I'm finally starting to understand what makes Emma tick. But there's still something that bothers me about that crime. There's something that's puzzling me, Emma.
What is it?
You said you were in Lana's office at that time, right?
That's right.
Why then would a serial killer come running in there? Not only that, but he was being chased by a prosecutor?
Oh, there's no mystery there. Joe Dark had been taken in for questioning that day.
Taken in for questioning? You mean by the police?
Of course. This happened at the police department. He tried to run away halfway through the interview, then fled into my sister's office.
But why did he run all the way over to your sister's office?
Because the detective offices and the questioning room are right across from the elevator.
Across from the elevator? But Lana was the chief prosecutor, wasn't she?
No, silly, didn't I tell you? 2 years ago, Lana was a detective. She was the best in the entire force.
What? That's news to me.
After the Joe Dark case, she was transferred to the prosecutor's office and made chief prosecutor.
Lana used to be a detective? I better have another talk with her.
Yeah, that's something new, isn't it?
Nothing too new to examine, though, is there?
Strange looks from clients, though.
He looks a little yellow today.
Oh, I watered him just now. I mixed in a lot, too. Mixed in what? Why, my very own scientific additive. Well, Charlie, you like it? I told you he's turning yellow. I'm not gonna examine all this stuff though. So let's keep moving around, shall we? We have a lot to learn. February 24th, detention center room. Here we go. Lana! Lana! Mr. Wright, it seems I keep causing you trouble. Falsifying evidence? I didn't think you were the type. Criminals don't mind playing foul. Why should we? But Lana, if you're wrong, an innocent person might be found guilty. Believe me, I understand the risks. Lana? Emma told me about you. Oh? About how you were a detective 2 years ago. And how the SL9 incident was the reason for your transfer to the prosecutor's office. That's right. Could you fill me in on the details, especially about that unusual change of jobs? I suppose you have a right to know, Mr. Wright. Please talk to me. A lot of revelations were uncovered at that trial today, not the least of which was the fact that this case is largely connected to another one 2 years ago. Evidence from that case was stolen as well, though I expected as much. I know how obsessive Officer Marshall can be. That trial, it really wasn't fair, was it? I believed in you, Lana. I believed that no matter what happened, you'd always stick to the truth. It couldn't be helped, Emma. At that trial 2 years ago, I sold my soul. Well, all drama aside, the fact of the matter is, at 5:15 there was no murder at that police department. Tell me it's not true, Lana. What the witness, Miss Starr, said. About you stabbing Mr. Goodman with a knife? Lana, I don't understand. Why won't you tell us? Emma, this doesn't involve just me. I don't think I've ever seen Lana look so fazed before. It's true. I was a member of the police force 2 years ago. She was amazing. Gant still looks like Ganondorf. There's something very sus about him. I'm still thinking that Gant is the person who has a 77777 number. Pretty sure that's him. But I could be wrong. We don't know for sure. They still talk about that case, all the cases she and Chief Gant cracked together. Chief Gant? He was the deputy chief of police back then, but he still worked the crime scenes. Damon Gant, who was everything I aspired to be. They were the best team ever. They solved crimes before the reports could even be filed. Emma really idolizes her big sister. But now you're chief prosecutor. What happened? I always planned on becoming a prosecutor. The reason I became a detective was to gain experience investigating crime scenes so you could use that experience in court, right? Gant's help in the SL9 case was crucial to its resolution. After that, he became chief of police and arranged my transfer to the prosecutor's office. Maybe I should ask more about this investigation of theirs 2 years ago. There's something very suspicious going on. 2 years ago, I was second in command of the detectives investigating Dark. Second in command? That means the investigation lead was Damon Gant, right? Yes. Deputy Chief Gant and I shared the same office and the same investigations. They even had the same office. Same office, eh? Maybe the killer was trying to go after Gant instead. We led a team of the best detectives on the force. Detective Goodman, whose case it was,
Jake Marshall and Angel Starr. It was their first time Marshall worked with his brother. He was quite gung-ho. Without a doubt, Joe Dark was the serial killer. We asked him to come in for questioning. We were desperate for evidence. That was when his final murder took place, when he tried to murder Emma. Prosecutor Marshall was trying to save me from Dark. You see, the first person who happened upon the scene of the crime was me. Now you tell us. Damon Gant and Neil Marshall were the ones questioning Dark that day. The investigation was in its final stages, and Dark must have suddenly panicked. So he waited until Gant and Marshall left their guards down, then fled the room. From there, he ran straight to the office shared by Deputy Chief Gant and myself.
That's where he found me.
So you were the first person to run to the scene, Lana? It appears so. I was filing some papers while Gant and Marshall were questioning Dark. I almost said Drake. Oh, that's a lot. That poor knife. Right in his back. When I returned to my office, I saw 3 bodies on the floor and smelled blood. 3 bodies. So, Marshall... I forgot names. Oh my god, how do I keep forgetting names? Yeah, so Marshall, deceased, prosecutor, murdered 2 years ago in the SL9 incident, Jake Marshall's brother. Joe Dark, also deceased. Serial killer responsible for the SL9 incident 2 years ago was given the death penalty. Yeah, so I'm assuming the 3 bodies are Joe Dark, Neil Marshall, and Emma. I smelled blood. 3 bodies? Prosecutor Marshall, the victim, Emma, who had passed out, and the suspect, Joe Dark. During the struggle, it seems Mr. Marshall struck a final blow before he died. Joe Dark had incurred a minor concussion and lay unconscious. What did you do? To be honest, I panicked. I picked up Emma, carried her out of the room, and just held her. Can't blame her after all. Her sister must have gone through. After that, I placed Dark under immediate arrest. Let me get this straight. You were all involved in the SL9 incident? That's right. Quite a coincidence, I don't buy it.
What are you saying?
There's no way everyone involved in this trial was also involved in that incident. Just by chance.
But that case was solved 2 years ago.
At least one person went to the extremes because they didn't believe it was truly solved. Officer Marshall, yes, his actions came as a surprise to me as well. Ever since his brother died, he's changed completely.
I guess he wasn't convinced with the ruling against Joe Dark.
Life doesn't end with the closing of a case. Everyone has to live the rest of their lives with their memories. That case just might not be over yet. Emma was assaulted by Dark at the police department, right? Yes, in the office that Damon Gant and I shared. The office that Mr. Gant now occupies by himself. The chief's office. Maybe we should have a look at the chief's office. The site of the final SL9 murder. That might be a good idea. Can I present any evidence, though, I wonder? Attorneys and prosecutors have no business showing evidence outside court. It's taboo, especially when the interests of both parties are involved. She really means it.
Lana.
I don't think she's gonna tell us anything. I just wanted to know. I don't want to leave anything unchecked. Nothing will be left unchecked here. I'm an attorney. Look at me, I'm a defense attorney. Alright, I guess we'll move somewhere then. Should we go back to the underground parking lot first? February 24th, Prosecutor's Office, underground parking lot. No one's here today, not even Miss Star. Everyone's probably busy looking into what exactly went down in the evidence room. That must be where the detectives are. But we proved in court that on the day of the crime, no one was murdered in the evidence room at 5:15 p.m. Yeah, I thought we were finally making some headway in our case. But that's the thing, right? Because we have our court record. Died within an hour and a half of 4 p.m. And they bled to death. It kind of takes a while, doesn't it? What if they were stabbed in the evidence room, but then their body was moved to the prosecutor's office? Yeah, I thought we were finally making some headway in our case. But instead it looks like we just ended up making Lana look even more guilty. Hang in there, Lana. I've got to find all the answers by tomorrow. Shall we go to the High Prosecutor's office? Room 1202. Mr. Edgeworth isn't here. Maybe he's being questioned by an inquiry committee? He took a real beating in court today. Yeah, with Lana admitting to falsifying evidence 2 years ago, I guess we'll have to come back later. But the thing is, right, that the blood on the ground, we never looked into that, did we? I can see my own reflection. Don't take the name tag. He wants such a prestigious award. Why would he just leave it on the couch? You think he'd want to show this thing off more than the giant steel samurai? Then again, Edgeworth has always been like that. Really? Hey, I should write this down. Tell me what he was like as a kid. Back in elementary school, he won awards for all kinds of things. I read this already. Kind of gets under your skin, doesn't it? I don't think there's really all that much new here, is there? Why don't we go do something different? Police department entrance. Oh, there he is. Howdy, Bambina. Oh, Mr. Marshall. I never thought things would turn out the way they did when I woke up this morning. Que sera sera. You never know where life will lead you, eh, Bambina? I should have known my luck when that had run out when old Billy dried up this morning. Old Billy dried up? Billy? Must be his pet cactus. Say, where are you headed? Just over to the prosecutor's office for a little interrogation. It's a voluntary appearance, but we all know I won't be coming back. Sorry, but you can't go in the evidence room today, partner. But Mr. Marshall, why did you do it? Why do prospectors head west? If ever there was a case I needed to know the truth about, it was this one. It was that one. Before you turn yourself in, Mr. Marshall, would you mind telling us exactly what happened? Looks like I won't be getting a steak lunch today. Something was fishy about that trial from the beginning. It wasn't just me either. All the detectives thought so. What do you mean fishy? Some of the facts reported were inconsistent with the evidence we found. For example, the murder weapon. The murder weapon? You mean that switchblade knife with the broken tip? That was Joe Dark's, alright. But in the initial autopsy report, a question was raised. Where's the tip of the knife that broke off? A question? The blade of the knife was not a perfect match with the wound the victim sustained. What does that mean? It means there is a good chance that knife was not the murder weapon. However, in the report that was finally submitted, that possibility had been erased. Could the facts have been concealed with forged evidence? That case left behind scars on all of us. The scars that the SL9 incident left behind. I got the looks, but he got the brains. He was one of the best prosecutors around. I had just made detective when it went down. It was our first case together.
How old was he? Your brother?
He was 27 at the time. He was awarded the highest honor that very day.
The highest honor? You mean the
king of prosecutors.
I knew it.
What are you looking at me like that for? That's an honor for a prosecutor. Mr. Marshall must have been really close with his brother.
The day of the SL9 incident took place. That wasn't the same day as...
That's right. It was the day of the evidence transferal.
Huh. That's mighty suspicious, isn't it?
A day of an evidence transferal, and somebody gets killed.
Why does this sound so freaking familiar?
There's something going on. They're using this... Somebody is using this King of Prosecutors award ceremony as some sort of cover to keep the cops away from the evidence room so someone can go in and mess with the evidence or something. Something very suspicious is going on. I still think Gant is behind it. He looks like Ganondorf and he's very suspicious. That's right. It was the day of the evidence transferal. Interesting. It was drizzling that morning, and by nightfall, there was thunder. I can't believe 2 years ago have gone by already. I tried to steal the evidence so that the case wouldn't die. Apparently someone tried to stop you. Detective Goodman was murdered, and the evidence locker was empty. There was something going on behind the scenes in that case. We all knew that later. Every detective involved in that investigation, save one, was taken care of. Miss Starr was fired, and I was demoted and boxed away in a tiny room. What about Detective Goodman? If they did something to him too, the commissioners would get suspicious. No, they were careful enough not to be too obvious. They?
Who are you talking about?
Don't get upset, Bambina. I mean Damon Gant and Lana Skye. The investigation lead, Damon Gant, and his second-in-command, Lana Skye. There wasn't a person on the force who hadn't heard of that duo. That case was the biggest step in both of their careers. After the case ended, Lana transferred to the prosecutor's office, right? Yeah. Damon Gant, the new chief of police, arranged for that to happen. She's never been the same since she left. Everyone who knew her said so. Chief Prosecutor Sky was a totally different person than when she was a detective. Now that he mentions it, Emma said something like that too.
Tell me, what happened to my sister?
Sorry, Bambina, but her secret is too well guarded. I never found out. Lana's secret? It all started 2 years ago. What the hell is he drinking? So there you have it. That's my story. Did you enjoy it, partner? It was certainly enlightening. There's one thing for sure I found out in court today. That boy Itchworth isn't my enemy. He was the one who used falsified evidence to get a guilty verdict. But someone else was the one who gave him that evidence and planned everything. That someone is Damon Gant. Don't believe me? Well, I don't blame you. I won't even be a patrolman after today. Is he quitting his job? Too bad I won't be around to work with you. When you become a real
family.
When you become a real scientific investigator. Adios, Bambina. We had to present evidence to you, sir. Whatever, I don't think we didn't need to anyway. Doesn't matter. Criminal Affairs Department? What are we gonna find in here? What are we going to find? This place is always pretty empty, but today it's deserted. That must mean everyone's busy solving crimes. Oh, if you're looking for others, they're all in the conference room. It's the chief. Oh wait, that chief. There's a chief of detectives who is across the room there, and then a chief of police who would be Gant. So technically different people, I guess. Whatever. Thanks. Wow, he actually talked to us. With the chief prosecutor saying what she did and the decision about what to do? About Mr. Edgeworth? Not to mention our statement to the media on tomorrow's trial. There's more chaos going on than Thanksgiving, Christmas put together. I think festive is the word usually used for those. Sir, we'd like to have a look around Chief Gant's office. Just use the connecting hallway to the other building and take the elevator to the top floor. Really? You mean it's okay for us to go in there? I mean, we aren't police officers or anything. Hey, you're right. You can't go in there. It's off limits. Now I see where Detective Gumshoe gets his unique charm. Well, what are we waiting for? Let's head to the chief's office. That man must be the chief of detectives. He's staring at the screen so hard it might shatter. What? Dark case may have been fabricated. That's what I thought all along. I just never bothered to tell anyone. Now there's a guy who cares about his work. A poster of a female police officer. Babes in uniform. Future star of the police force. The sign's changed a little from the one outside. Dancing Blue Badger TM. There's still hundreds of elements, you see? You have it trademarked? Absolutely, it's cutting edge stuff. Must be one of the detectives. He's mumbling something. That's it! The villain used a time machine. Very clever indeed. That would explain the alibi. The future might not be so far away after all. He's not writing a report. He's writing a novel. Sure, time machines. That answers everything, doesn't it? Let's go to the chief's office. We're gonna find something good in there. I just know it. Ooh, that's kind of fancy. Is that like a pipe organ? Also, I'm noticing that picture on the left side. So you have Gant, Marshall, Lana. Who are the other people in that picture, I wonder? February 24th, Police Department Chief's Office. Is he in here? Whoa! Where am I?
In the chief's office, silly. At least that's what it said on the door.
Check out that pipe organ. That's real, isn't it?
Hey, I used to take organ lessons in kindergarten. They used to call me Little Miss Bach. I thought I was a genius until they tried teaching me notes. I never could remember where C was.
I don't know how similar piano and organ are, but C is like the easiest key to find. Whatever.
Where was C?
I mean, there's plenty of them because there's like 8 octaves or whatever.
Gant's here? Uh-oh.
Oh, it's you two.
Chief Gant.
He put that paper he was reading on his desk. So, Righto, have you been swimming lately?
No, I haven't. I've been kind of busy lately.
I can appreciate that. I've had my hands full, too, with Mr. Marshall's misconduct and Lana's provocative statements.
Provocative statements?
Keep Emma away from the organ? Oh no, Bob.
Phrasing?
2 years have passed since that incident. My, how time flies. See that big picture on the wall over there?
Ooh! Wait, that's the weird-looking vase, isn't it?
And that scarf that's around the suit of armor. Huh. So this one has a broken shield, but it also doesn't have any kind of knife on it. And then we look at this one. The shield is still broken, but it has a knife on it. Did someone take the knife from that shield and turn it into a weapon? But then also look at that jar in the background. That's the same jar that we picked up from the crime scene. But also that suit of armor, I'll move my camera. The suit of armor on the right side also has like a red cloth. I wonder if that has anything to do with it. Where was it taken? That's a good question. Because it seems like... Because this was the day of the... So they present this award on the same day as an evidence transferal. And this happened twice already. Once now, and once 2 years ago. So something very suspicious is going on. That's a picture of Lana, Neil, and me. So this is Mr. Marshall's brother, Prosecutor Neil Marshall. We took it to commemorate our work together. Something's not right with this picture. Can't quite seem to put my finger on it. I mean, apparently I'm smarter than Phoenix in this instance. Gant team picture added to the court record. Looks like the same vase though.
Anyway, I like to reminisce all day, but there are matters that need my
Phoenix is a
attention.
dum-dum.
Phoenix is a doom-doom, apparently, yes. I'm going to lock up here, so let's go out together. Oh. But this office, it was a crime scene 2 years ago, wasn't it? That case has long since been over. There's no need to investigate it anymore. All the same, we'd still like to have a look around. Perhaps you didn't hear me. I said there's no need to investigate it anymore. Bro, you're so sus, you're definitely behind this. Huh?
Now hurry up and get out. I have a meeting to attend.
Wait, that knight in the background. It was on the right side. It looked like that picture was taken in this room, wasn't it? Looks like we aren't welcome. It seems that case isn't over with yet, after all. What do you mean? Chief can't deny a request to search the crime scene. That means there must be a reason that he doesn't want us looking around in there. You mean, like, a clue? There's gotta be a way we can get inside the chief's office. With a key card, perhaps? Can we take it off the chief? And now we're back here again. Police Station Criminal Affairs Department. Hey, pal! Detective Gumshoe, aren't you supposed to be in a meeting?
I'm just taking a breather. My feet hurt.
From sitting so long?
Actually, from serving everyone coffee.
Sounds like Detective Gumshoe's still out of the loop.
Say, have either of you seen Mr. Miles Edgeworth?
Edgeworth?
No. Why do you ask? He's under fire from both the police department and the prosecutor's office. He's almost like the battles between you two in court.
That sounds serious. Is it because of what my sister said?
That's basically what it all boils down to. That falsified evidence 2 years ago. Now Mr. Edgeworth has the whole world after his blood.
Yikes.
I don't think there is anything to examine. Shall we try presenting?
Here's my attorney's badge.
This ID card belongs to the victim, Detective Bruce Goodman. You can do just about anything these days with a card and a secret number. Scary.
Only scary because you keep dropping your card, Detective Gumshoe.
I forget my secret number a lot too. I'm scared of myself. But I'm me after all, and what could be wrong with that?
I think I'll stay out of this conversation.
Hey, that's it! That's the King of Prosecutors Award that Mr. Edgeworth got the other day.
Were you at the award ceremony, Detective Gumshoe?
Of course, pal. I got an award for diligence myself.
Ah, congratulations. I was wondering, why is the award a shield? And why is it broken?
Oh, there's a reason. I'll tell you what it is later.
Apparently he's forgotten.
Found in Mr. Edgeworth's car, stabbed with Mr. Edgeworth's knife, huh? What would drive Chief Prosecutor Sky to do such a thing? I didn't mean... Sure, of course someone else really did it. Someone who must have a grudge against Mr. Edgeworth. This is gonna be the same. This guy almost made us lose the case today. What are you talking about? He was guarding the bloodstain on the evidence locker with his life. That's more than you can say about most officers nowadays.
It would have saved us a lot of trouble if he hadn't guarded it so well.
I have to admit, he's right though.
Thanks to the Blue Badger, we were able to prove another possibility today.
The possibility that another murder took place prior to 5:15 p.m. Let me share a little advice with you as a detective. If you don't have a clue, keep your trap shut. I'll keep that in mind. Sheesh. I'm gonna present everything to him, I don't care. That's the photo that Miss Starr took. Anything you can tell us about it? That Miss Starr is quite the lady. Why, I remember it was winter. I was 16. Is this backstory important? I think so, right? She was the only one who ever got me to talk about what happened. 16? That's how old I am now. I wonder what happened. I wonder if Detective Gumshoe wore a trench coat in high school, too. About this. Hey, is that... It has a tag attached to it with the label SL9 incident on it. I believe this would be the broken murder weapon you were speaking of. What are you going to do with that? Ever since that case was closed, that knife's been locked away in a locker. On the day Detective Goodman was murdered, it suddenly disappeared from the locker. It was found in Mr. Edgeworth's car muffler. That's it! Now remember what that incriminating piece of evidence was. When you showed me that knife, it all came back to me. Well, what is it, Detective? Quick, before you forget again. Hey, I just bought that stuff. Now I can go around and detect blood traces too. Wow! Is that a new type? I've never seen that bottle before. Add 3 inches to your base height. Oh. What could that possibly mean? Base height? Hey, let me see that. Looming tall, new and improved growth formula. Emma, let's go over here. You mean this can't detect any blood traces? Well, it's not quite the same thing as luminol. So that's why the lady at the counter had that smirk on her face. This might be important. That's the ID card record, isn't it? Yes, there's only one number left to investigate, at 4:20 p.m. The victim, Detective Goodman, must have entered the evidence room along with somebody else. Someone with an executive officer number. 77777? That's 17 too many, Detective. An executive officer. I just might have a hunch. Is it Gant? It's gotta be Gant, right? Hey, that powder's used for detecting fingerprints. Yeah, Mr. Edgeworth gave it to us. He did what? All I have is some flour. Are you okay, Detective? Someone's messing with a motorcycle outside. Uh-oh. Achoo! Detective is a sneezy boy, isn't he?
Achoo! Bless you!
You're welcome, Detective. If it's any help, one time I took a nap on a bench with wet paint. Why am I not comforted? Let me share a little advice with you as a detective. Oh, a lost item report, huh? Very impressive, Detective. You knew what it was right off the bat. Well, I am a master of misplacement, you know? Master? That has such a cool ring to it. The way I see it, if things are meant to be lost, then they're meant to be lost. There's a higher power at work here. Wow, a higher power? Maybe I shouldn't let Emma hold any evidence. He's got nothing to say about this. No locker can be opened without a fingerprint match. Besides, there's no reason for the murderer to touch his own locker. Hey, wasn't your locker the one with the blood on it, Detective? That handprint of the real murderer's gloved hand, without any fingerprints. Shh. If they come to arrest me, you'll defend me, won't you? If that happens, I think you'll do better pleading with Edgeworth. Unstable jar. A jar pieced together from fragments found at the crime scene. A piece is missing. I think this is the same jar in this photo. It's absolutely the same jar. But is that the same award? And why is that thing that looks like a knife is missing? Something is very sus. About that jar, I think I've seen it before somewhere. Somewhere? Or maybe it's just one of those memories people have from previous lives. This must be the most uninformative detective I've ever met. Something about it makes me feel uneasy. It's like I'm in the chief's office and he's yelling at me. Chief Gant? Where could I have seen that before? I just showed you. I can't believe Officer Marshall would do something like that. You know Officer Marshall? Of course I do. He was like a mentor to me. When I first started out, he even gave me a small cactus. Really? He said, Dick, she'll listen to all your troubles. Note to self, Detective Gumshoe talks to a cactus. Hard to believe he's just a patrolman now. Someone ought to trade places with him. Like you? What? Why are you looking at me like that? Got nothing to say. I've been studying up on those files. There's nothing wrong with Mr. Edgeworth's presentation. To think people are accusing him of injustice. I, for one, ain't buying it, pal. You're looking into the case for Mr. Edgeworth? Yeah, it was a pretty big deal while it was going on, you know? After all, a serial killer was on the loose. But Lana was pretty clear in her confession. She forged evidence in order to prove Joe Dark guilty. He has nothing else to say. Well, we can talk to him about stuff. We don't have to present anything. Edgeworth's crisis. But why would Edgeworth be blamed? It's not like he knew the evidence was forged. Lana Skye is the guilty party here, isn't she? Regardless, a prosecutor is responsible for the evidence they present in court. Not only that, but as you know, there have been a lot of rumors going around about Mr. Edgeworth. His amazing talent as a prosecutor kept him safe from those who don't like him. But now, with this, are there really so many people who hate him? The people who were in the defense chair when he was a prosecutor, I guess? They put him in jail. I suppose that they wouldn't like him because of that. In our world, only those with talent rise to the top. Mr. Edgeworth not only has that, but he's young. There's no better recipe I know for making enemies. Hey, Dick, keep up the good work. Yes, sir. Let's go out for lunch again sometime. My treat. Yes, sir. You gotta take me back to that joint sometime, okay, Dick? Yes, sir. It seems you don't have any problems with enemies. Yeah, well, I'm careful not to stick out. Anyway, I'm a bit worried about him. Under all this pressure, I'm afraid Mr. Edgeworth just might crack. Actually, I took a look at the file earlier, while the coffee was brewing. He seems genuinely concerned for Edgeworth. Well, did you find out anything? The only evidence Dark left behind was during his final attack. His final attack? You mean when he killed Prosecutor Marshall, who was trying to protect some girl?
Me.
It seems Detective Gumshoe never realized Emma was that girl. That's when he left the most incriminating evidence of all.
Well, what was it?
Oh, let me see. I think it has something to do with the murder weapon. Oh, I forget. Looks like it's all written in here. It's all written somewhere in here, okay? His powers of recollection never fail to impress. Maybe we should show him the murder weapon. It might jog his memory. We already did that. Joe Dark was 42 at the time of the crime. He was just your run-of-the-mill businessman. A businessman? What made him take to serial killing? One day, on his way home from work, he hit someone with his car.
With his car? So it was an accident?
An accident, yes, but it was transformed him into an animal.
An animal? Hi. I sneezed. It's okay. You don't have to be scared. An animal?
He had killed a man that witnessed the accident. Then he killed a lady who walked by then just then, so he killed them too. Then when he was burying the bodies, a dog came along and the same was killed. Finally, he turned himself in. Seems like he was a pretty careless animal. Of course, this is all conjecture. There wasn't a single shred of evidence.
So he turned himself in?
Yes, but in the middle of his questioning, he fled and murdered his final victim.
And that doesn't add up. If he turned himself in, didn't someone else call him to the station?
Prosecutor Marshall. That crime was witnessed by someone too, but luckily Dark was arrested on the spot. It's a good thing that last witness wasn't killed.
That last witness? AKA Emma. This knife, it was Joe Dark's, wasn't it?
That's right. We trace it back to the store he bought it at. Plus, it had his fingerprints on it too.
But no one actually witnessed him using it to murder anyone, right?
That's where his luck ran out. When you take a good look at the knife, you'll see it's broken.
You don't have to take a good look to notice that.
Yeah, well, anyway. Take a guess where the broken off tip of the knife was found. It's either in the body of Detective Marshall, who died 2 years ago, or it was somewhere else in the office. That's what did him in.
Where was it?
The victim, Neil Marshall, was carrying it inside his own body. It was found deep inside the stab wound.
Did it match Dark's knife?
You bet, down to the last fiber.
That's pretty conclusive. Neil's autopsy report added to the court record. Stabbed in the back, died from a punctured heart and lung. A knife tip was in the wound. Switchblade knife updated in court record. The broken tip was found in the victim's body, belonged to murderer Joe Dark.
Well, there you have it in a nutshell. That's all I know.
Can I ask you one more thing?
What is it? If it's money you need, you should ask Chief Gent.
It's not money, but it does concern the chief. His office is a crime scene, right? It's where Prosecutor Neil Marshall was murdered. The chief's out now, and his office is locked. But we'd like to have a look around if that's okay.
Well, any detective's ID card can unlock the door.
What? Really?
But if I let a civilian in there, I'd be charged with breach of trust.
Breach of trust?
Simply put, I'd be canned.
Oh.
Sorry, pal.
I don't plan on getting fired because of you. How about this ID card? It was Detective Goodman's. That won't work either. The data was deleted the day after he died. Oh my god, my voice. That won't work either. The data was deleted the day he died. Oh. So, in other words, Gumshoe is our only chance of getting into that office. I wonder if there's something we could show him that would change his mind. I think maybe we need to present something like this. That's ID card record, isn't it? We already showed him this, though. There's only one number left to investigate at 420. The victim, Detective Goodman, must have entered the evidence room along with someone else. Someone with an executive officer number. 77777. I just might have a hunch. I was thinking it's somewhere in here. Maybe I need to go somewhere else. Yeah. Because I don't think I have the evidence to show him anything right now. Here, 24th, High Prosecutor's Office, room 1202. What else can we find in here? That's gonna be the real question. But how about this? I'm gonna go ahead and take another couple minutes to rest my voice. Thank you so much for watching so far. I'll see you soon.